Hi, Sir Michael. Good day. I am Ave Marie Miguel, and this will be my final oral examination for organizational and management. Uh, and this is are my questions. Chapter 6, Managerial Decision Making, Question 6. Chapter 9, Managing and Human Resources, Question 12. And Chapter 12, Motivation, Question 2. For Chapter 6, Managerial Decision Making, analyze 3 decisions you made over the past 6 months. Which of these were programmed and which model, the classical, administrative, and political, best describe the approach you took to each decision? Um, Let me first define the program decisions. Program decisions are decisions that are repeated over time in which an existing set of rules can be developed. Program decision making involves those decisions that are already have a plan or rules in place and in use to reach a solution or conclusion. In other words, managers have already made much decision before and it's repetitive and routine processes. Ito po yung mga bagay na habit na natin, mga routine natin. Halimbawa nito yung sa HR. Ah, Hindi na sila nagwo-worry kasi meron na silang system tungkol sa payroll, hindi na kailangan nilang gawin yun isa-isa. Ibig sabihin, meron silang pinapollow na instruction doon. Next is non-program decision. Non-program decision are novel and not based on well-defined or known criteria. Contrary to program decision making, non-program decision are ill-instructed and one-time decision. Problem or situation that don't have concrete and set of rules of guidelines to follow rely on one non-program decision making, and these are complex to have a long-term impact. Ibig sabihin, hindi po siya nakaplano. Halimbawa nito, yung sa airline company, bigla silang nag-cancel ng flight nila. Siyempre po may impact yun, maraming madedelay, maraming maapektuhan. Decision-making models. Number 1, classical model. The classical model of decision-making is considered to be normative, which means it defines how a decision maker should make decisions. It does not describe how managers actually make decisions so much as it provides guidelines on how to reach an ideal outcome for the organization. Second is administrative model. The administrative model of decision making describes how managers actually make decisions in difficult situations, such as those characterized by non-program decisions, uncertainty, and ambiguity. The last one is political model. The third model of decision making is useful for making non-program decisions when conditions are uncertain, information is limited, and managers may disagree about what goal to pursue or what course or action to take. Most organization decision involves many managers who are pursuing different goals, and they have to talk with one another to share information and to reach an agreement. And back to our questions. These are the decisions I made over the 6 months. Purchasing groceries, foods, toiletries, every end of the month. Because these are very essential and we need this in our everyday living. Program po siya tsaka classical. Kasi po, itong mga bagay nito, pinaglalaanan ko na talaga to kapag end of the month. Siyempre, kailangan natin bumili ng pagkain, bumili ng shampoo, bumili ng sabon, para sa araw-araw nating pangangailangan. Kumbaga, routine ko na talaga siya. Second is paying my monthly bills. We are using electricity, water, internet, and many more because these are part of our modern life. Paying your bills on time is an important aspect of taking control of your financial life. Knowing when your bills are due and making a habit of paying them by the deadline can reduce your stress, save money, boost your credit score, and able to get lower interest credit in the future. Ano po siya? Program at classical. Siyempre po, para sa convenience natin, kailangan natin gumamit ng kuryente, tubig at internet, lalo na't nag-aaral pa tayo. Parang kagaya din to ng pag-grocery ko rin. Routine na natin to. Tsaka, pinaglalaanan din talaga. The last one is I went to my favorite restaurant. Because I want to enjoy and appreciate uh, fine cuisine sometimes because I am foodie and I love to eat. And also, this is also a reward for myself. For me, eating at a restaurant give me the opportunity to try something new. Non-program po siya, tsaka political. Kasi bigla ko lang naisip na kumain sa restaurant na hindi naman siya nag-crave ka lang bigla. Siyempre, may consequence din yun na mababawasan yung allowance mo. Kailangan mo rin magtipid para sa mga susunod na na budgetan yung mga susunod na pangangailangan. Hindi naman po kasi siya kailangan lagi. Chapter 9, Managing and Human Resources. Question number 12. How do you think the use of telecommuters, contingent workers, and virtual teams affect human resources management? How can managers improve recruiting and retention of these new kinds of employees? Telecommuting is the ability for an employee to complete work assignments from outside the traditional workplace by using telecommunication tools such as email, phone, chat, and video apps. A contingent worker is someone who works for an organization without being hired as their employee. Contingent workers may provide their services under a contract, temporarily, or on an as-needed basis. They are often hired to complete a specific project rather than accepting on an ongoing, open-minded workload as a permanent employee does. Example of contingent workers are independent contractors, freelancers, consultants, temporary workers employed by a staff agency or other third party and assigned to work for the organization. Um, for a virtual team, it is also known as geographically dispersed team or a remote team. It's a group of people who interact through electronic communication. Um, Members of a virtual team are usually located in different geographical regions. Telecommuters, contingent workers, and virtual teams saves companies money on office space and saves money the employees spend on travel. It also helps them balance their home lives and works to increase employee satisfaction. With remote work, employees' activities are less directly noticeable by the managers and HR. Hence, successes or failures from employees could be easily overlooked on a day-to-day basis. Remote workplaces have pushed HR managers to develop new system of employee performance reviews and recognition. To address the issue of legal compliance, some sources suggest that a written contract should be established between the employer and the employee spelling out the responsibilities and rights of each. Since they are still subject to all workplaces policies as of the covered by regular procedure. A set of work must be established, however, and so should a way of documenting those hours. Employees who work away from home from the office should also give a number where they may be reached at all times during work hours. In some cases, where employees must attend online meetings, the office address code should apply. These are these are the considerations be worked out by the human resources department before the contract is written. As as new technology emerge that enables workers to access files and view work sites remotely, the number of people who telecommute will rise. Human resource department must develop practices and policies to deal with the change and to ensure that the workplace is in compliance with regulation. When managing remote teams, it is also important to encourage employees to leverage communication platforms they already use, either at work or in their personal lives, to create new ways to work together. A strong culture of communication is one of the most effective ways to motivate workers, yet communication doesn't always have to be work related. Here is what business leaders across the globe are including in the strategies to keep their teams motivated. One is turning phone calls into video conference. Remote teams will open communication asynchronously, which eliminates the context of tone and body language. Without this nonverbal communication, a manager's intent can be left open to misinterpretation. Second is implementing a recognition or reward program. Your organization may or may not already have an internal employee recognition program in place, but keep your remote team even more connected with a specific program that ensures they are aware of the value they bring to the team and organization. Next is providing ongoing feedback. For most remote workers, this is their first time working remotely full-time and they're going to need regular assurances. This means you'll have to be more purposeful in providing feedback during your communications. Otherwise, some of your remote team remember may feel in the dark about their performances. It is important to remember that some team members will need feedback daily and others feel comfortable with fewer check-ins. And it's up to the manager to determine which is the best course of action for each of your team members. And the last is providing direction with confidence. It is the time of uncertainty. Your team members are relying on leadership to set the tone. Communicate regularly with employees and ensure to maintain an open dialogue for doing so. And the last chapter is chapter 12, motivation. Question 2. Psychologists have identified three pathways to happiness: pleasure, engagement, and meaning. Do you think that it's the manager's responsibility to help people find this element in their work? Then discuss. For me, it's yes. I think this is a manager's responsibility to help his employees find happiness, pleasure, and engagement. These aspects are very important for employees in organization. This element helps in contributing to employee satisfaction. Happy, engaged employees are good for an organization. According to research, employees are more creative, produce better results, and are willing to go extra mile. The manager is the person who is responsible for the productivity of his subordinates. They take up the authority of making employees work according to the guidelines of the organization and complete the work on time. They create an environment that promotes engagement by providing employees with a sense of competence and growth. Their behavior is the biggest factor for determining whether people feel motivated and engaged to work. When managers organize the workplace in such a way to create these feelings, employee engagement grows, leading to high motivation and a high organizational performance. Uh, People feel that they are working towards something important. When employees have a chance to accomplish something that provides real value, they feel a sense of meaningfulness. Good managers, people help understand the purpose of their work, which contributes to feeling of pride and dignity. Second is people feel connected to the company, to one another and their manager. The behavior of managers makes the biggest difference in whether people engage at work. Managers promote engagement when they listen to employees, genuinely care about their concern, and help them develop positive relationship with colleagues. And the last one, people have the chance to learn, grow, and advance. To be fully engaged, people need not only to feel that they are competent to handle is of things, but also they have the chance to learn and expand their potential. Good managers help employees understand their own unique set of talents, skills, interests, attitudes, and needs, and put the people in jobs where they can make their best contribution and receive intrinsic reward for every day and make sure people will have what they need to perform. That's all, and thank you, sir.